A question of trust. Victor Canning.
What advice did the lady give Horace regarding his hay fever?
The lady advised Horace that he could find a cure to the hay fever by trying to find which plant caused the allergy.
How were flowers hindering Horace in his work?
Horace suffered from hay fever and was allergic to some flowers. On smelling the flowers, he started sneezing.
How did Horace manage to quieten the dog?
Horace knew that all one had to do to keep dogs quiet was to call them by their right names.
What story did the lady tell Horace to get the jewels?
The lady said that her jewels were in the safe, which she needed that night, but she had forgotten the combination to open it.
Did Horace get the jewels from the Grange safe?
Horace was not able to keep any jewels, though he stole them.
Why did Horace Danby rob every year?
He robbed every year to get enough money to last for 12 months and to buy books he loved to collect.
Did the young lady expect Horace to be caught after the theft?
Yes, the young lady knew Horace would be caught as he forgot to put on his gloves.
What does Horace Danby love to collect?
Horace Danby loved to collect rare and expensive books.
Why does he steal every year?
He robbed every year to have enough money to last for 12 months.
How did he buy books he loved?
He bought them through an agent.
How did Horace Danby manage to get an overview of Shotover Grange?
A magazine article had described the house.
With whom did Horace Danby live?
Horace Danby lived with a housekeeper.
How was the burglar alarm built?
The burglar alarm was poorly built.
Why did the police arrest Horace Danby?
His fingerprints were all over the room, and no one believed him when he said the wife of the owner had asked him to open the safe.
Who is the real culprit in the story?
The lady in red is the real culprit.
Did you begin to suspect, before the end of the story, that the lady was not the person Horace Danby took her to be? If so, at what point did you realize this and how?
We begin to suspect the lady before the end of the story, as she doesn't lose her cool even after seeing a stranger in the house. She did not call the police but instead asked Horace to take out all the jewels from the safe by breaking it. She was amused at meeting him.
What are the subtle ways in which the lady manages to deceive Horace Danby into thinking she is the lady of the house?
The lady in red remained flexible and adapted her plan to suit the changed circumstances. Her familiarity with the dog Sherry, the ease with which she walked to the fireplace, and her confidence in straightening the ornaments were enough to deceive Horace.
Do you think Horace Danby was unfairly punished or that he deserved what he got?
Horace Danby was partly innocent in the robbery at Shotover Grange because he never took the jewels he was accused of stealing, even though he broke into the place with the intention of robbing it. His punishment isn't unfair because he had committed many robberies over the past years, and it can be construed as his crimes catching up to him.
Describe the character traits of Horace Danby that led to his downfall.
Horace Danby was a meticulous planner and a successful locksmith who maintained a facade of respectability while secretly engaging in theft to support his love for rare books. However, his overconfidence in his skills and his assumption that he could handle any situation made him complacent. This complacency blinded him to the possibility of deception, as demonstrated when he encountered the lady in red. His gullibility and failure to verify her identity led him to believe her fabricated story. Ultimately, his overconfidence, combined with his lack of caution, resulted in his downfall.
How did the lady in red manage to deceive Horace Danby?
The lady in red deceived Horace by pretending to be the lady of the house. She exuded confidence and familiarity with the setting, convincing Horace of her authenticity. She fabricated a convincing story about forgetting the safe's combination and needing the jewels for a party that evening. Her persuasive demeanor, authoritative tone, and calm behavior made Horace trust her without question. Consequently, he opened the safe without gloves, leaving his fingerprints, which led to his arrest while she escaped with the jewels.
Discuss the irony in the story, a question of trust.
The story's irony lies in the fact that Horace Danby, a thief who prides himself on meticulous planning, falls victim to another thief. While he believes he is in control of the situation, the lady in red outwits him, using his own skills against him. Additionally, Horace's belief in his ability to deceive others is overturned when he is deceived himself. This twist not only adds a layer of humor but also highlights the unpredictable nature of trust and deception.
Analyze the theme of deception in the story.
Deception is the central theme of A Question of Trust. Horace Danby deceives society by maintaining a respectable public image while secretly stealing to fulfill his love for rare books. However, he becomes the victim of deception when the lady in red manipulates him into believing she is the homeowner. This interplay of lies and manipulation highlights how even the most calculated individuals can be outsmarted. The story underscores the dangers of deception, illustrating that those who deceive others are themselves vulnerable to being deceived.
What role does Horace's love for rare books play in the story?
Horace's passion for rare books is the primary motivator behind his criminal activities. This obsession drives him to steal annually to afford his collection, making him compromise his otherwise respectable lifestyle. His love for rare books also blinds him to the risks of his actions, making him vulnerable to manipulation. The lady in red exploits this weakness by tricking him into robbing the house for her. Ultimately, his obsession not only motivates his crimes but also leads to his downfall.
Examine the significance of the title, A Question of Trust.
The title A Question of Trust reflects the story's central conflict, where trust is both exploited and misplaced. Horace Danby's trust in the lady in red leads him to believe her fabricated story, causing him to commit theft on her behalf. This misplaced trust ultimately results in his arrest. The story demonstrates the fragility of trust and its critical role in human interactions, particularly in a context where deception prevails.
How does the author build suspense throughout the narrative?
The author builds suspense by detailing Horace Danby's careful planning and methodical approach to the robbery, creating anticipation about whether he will succeed. The sudden appearance of the lady in red introduces an unexpected twist, keeping readers on edge about her intentions. Her convincing story and manipulation of Horace add to the tension, as readers wonder if he will realize the deception. The climax, where Horace is arrested after being tricked, delivers a surprising and ironic resolution, maintaining suspense until the end.
Discuss the moral implications presented in the story.
The story explores moral implications related to honesty, deception, and the consequences of unethical behavior. Horace Danby's choice to engage in theft despite leading a respectable life illustrates how compromising one's morals can lead to unforeseen consequences. Similarly, the lady in red's deceitful actions highlight the immediate rewards of dishonesty but also raise questions about ethical conduct. The story ultimately suggests that deceptive actions, whether minor or major, can lead to significant moral dilemmas and consequences.
How does Horace Danby's character evolve throughout the story?
At the start of the story, Horace Danby is portrayed as a confident and skilled planner, secure in his ability to execute thefts without detection. However, his encounter with the lady in red exposes his gullibility and overconfidence. By the end of the story, Horace is humbled by his arrest, signaling a shift from self-assurance to regret and vulnerability. This evolution highlights how overconfidence and lack of caution can lead even the most meticulous individuals to failure.
What lesson can be learned from the story, A Question of Trust?
The story teaches that trust should not be placed blindly, especially in unfamiliar situations. Horace Danby's misplaced trust in the lady in red led to his arrest, despite his meticulous planning. It also emphasizes that deceit, even when done for personal passion or gain, can backfire. The narrative underscores the importance of being cautious and discerning, particularly when dealing with strangers or unexpected scenarios.
How did Horace Danby prepare for the robbery at Shotover Grange?
Horace Danby meticulously planned the robbery at Shotover Grange. He had studied the house for 2 weeks and found a magazine article that described the house in detail. The article included a layout of all the rooms and a picture of the room where the safe was concealed behind a painting. This information gave him the confidence to execute his plan.
What was Horace Danby's hobby, and how did he manage to fulfill it?
Horace Danby had a passion for collecting rare and expensive books. To finance this hobby, he committed a carefully planned robbery once a year, stealing enough money to purchase the books he desired through a secret agent.
How did the lady in red exploit Horace's trust to deceive him?
The lady in red exploited Horace's trust by pretending to be the lady of the house. She confidently fabricated a story about forgetting the safe's combination and needing the jewels for a party that night. Her authoritative demeanor and convincing narrative persuaded Horace to trust her without verifying her identity, leading him to open the safe for her.
What lesson does the story A Question of Trust convey about human nature and deception?
The story illustrates that even individuals who pride themselves on their ability to deceive can be outwitted by more cunning deceivers. It emphasizes the complexities of trust and the unexpected consequences of dishonesty. The narrative also underscores that overconfidence in one's skills can lead to vulnerability and eventual downfall.